So the first speaker, it's an absolute delight to introduce Kimberley MacKenzie from Barrie, Ontario, our fundraising neighbors to the north. Kimberley and I have crossed paths for probably, I don't know, 15 years now. She now has her own consultancy at Kimberley MacKenzie and Associates. She's got deep fundraising experience. And I have to tell you, I got a sneak peek at her presentation, and when you are done watching this, there will not be a dry eye in the house. So without further ado, I bring you Kimberley MacKenzie.
I'm Kimberley MacKenzie from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. Thank you to all of you who have worked so hard today to pull this together, and especially Sophie for continuing to provide inspiration and innovation to fundraisers worldwide for what, oh gosh, it must be 10 years or more now. I'm thrilled to be here today. As fundraisers, you know that the human brain is hardwired to communicate through stories. We consistently open up our hearts and seek out the very best stories for our organizations. We use them in our direct mail programs, capital campaigns, impact reports, and when we get back to it, even our gala events. Stories are universal. They teach us our history. They teach us how to behave. They shape our view of the world, and they help us empathize, but mostly they motivate us to action. However, when it comes to gifts and wills, asking for stories can be hard. Sometimes it goes like this. Have you thought about your legacy? I mean, that's a tough conversation starter. In fact, to me, it sort of sounds like, what are you going to do with your money when you die? A lot of charities simply don't know how to talk about their legacy program, and they think of it as talking about death. But here's the thing. What if we talk about life instead? Talking about life is so much easier, isn't it? I mean, that's the idea that I wish I thought of. The Jewish Foundation of Manitoba is knocking their legacy program out of the park, not because they're talking about death, but because they're talking about life. Like most of the really smart things in this world, the Book of Life is a very simple concept. In exchange for people who have pledged a gift in their will, donors are invited to write the story of their life. If the task is too daunting, the fundraising folks will help them with an interview and some editing. And then they publish a keepsake book for them. They have events once per year where legators come and sign their book and celebrate their life stories. People like Mrs. Jean Duffy Odell. Mrs. Odell's grandfather moved to Canada to deliver milk. She grew up in Montreal, and in 1947, she went to university, and eventually she graduated from McGill with a master's degree in social work and worked as a social worker. In her story, she says, "My parents had a tradition of tithing, giving 10% of their income to help others. This value is one which I believe in too. There may have been women who have in one way or another contributed. There have been many women in my life who have contributed in one way or another. My bequest to the Women's Endowment Fund is a way to say thank you to these women and at the same time giving me an opportunity to, in turn, help others." Then there's the story of Adam Nepon. Adam is one of 9 children. Adam's mother, Leslie, made a decision to convert to Judaism before he was born, and she wanted to raise her family in a kosher home. Occasionally, as Adam was growing up, he heard people making disparaging comments about his Indigenous heritage, and it was never in a positive way. The knowledge that he was both Jewish and Indigenous took some processing for him. Adam's story is one of resilience, overcoming hardship, working hard at school, and eventually building a successful life for his family. In his story, he wrote, Adam's convinced that had he not had this foundation of community support in his life, he would not have survived. Adam sees himself as a proven outcome that the Jewish Foundation of Manitoba saves lives, Through Jonah's memorial fund, a little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. And we have Lil and Lloyd Feinstein. Lil and Lloyd met as teenagers at summer camp. They married in 1955. They raised 3 children in Winnipeg. And as Lloyd worked as an accountant, and Lil worked as a school teacher. At the beginning of the story, they say, as we tell our story together, it becomes most obvious that we have had our share of joy and sorrow, both as individuals and as a couple. On the balance, though, the good outweighs the bad. Our purpose in telling our story is to pass on to our grandchildren a sense that their background and some of the life lessons that we have both learned. And they end their story with this. To our children of whom we are so proud, we say, we tried to be the best parents we could. And to our grandchildren, we say, we hope your lives are filled with love, laughter, sensitivity toward others, and that you will aspire to always try to do your best and remember pride in your Jewish heritage. But has it raised any money? Just the last 4 years, these are the financial results of this incredibly moving program. In 2019, they realized that means people had passed and the gift was transferred to the organization. They realized 17 bequests valuing over $2.1 million. And they signed up 13 new signers to the Book of Life, or legators. In 2018, they received 11 bequests for the total of $32,000 and signed up 15 more legators. In 2017, 11 bequests valuing over $1.2 million with 34 new legators, and 2016, 13 bequests for a total of $866,000 and 12 new legators. Overall, since 2016, this program has realized 152 bequests totaling over $11.5 million. I encourage you to take some time to visit the Jewish Foundation Book of Life and to read some of the hundreds of stories collected there. And while you're doing it, as you scroll through, I want you to think to yourself or ask yourself these questions. Is my organization's legacy program focused on a life lived or a life gone? Can I take this simple idea and help our donors with their stories? And when I talk about leaving a legacy, am I offering hope for the future? And finally, I'd like you to remember the dash. So I'm going to close with this poem. The Dash, a poem by Linda Ellis. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth, and now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters most is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still can be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this dash might last just a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you lived your dash? The Book of Life honors the dash. It offers donors an opportunity to share their values through their life story, knowing that those values are going to live on through their bequest. where they came from, who their family is, what their truth is, and how through their gift, good work is going to continue. This is what legacy fundraising is all about. And this is why I wish I thought of the Book of Life. Thank you so much to my dear friend, Paul Nazareth, who introduced me to Laurel Hogan, Donor Development Associate at the Jewish Foundation of Manitoba. If you'd like more information about this program, Laurel has a wealth of information to share, and you can reach her here at lhogan@jewishfoundation.org. Thanks, everybody.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to try not to cry for this. Thank you very, very much, Kimberly, for that. Legacy is just, I see John Lepp had a comment about legacy and the power of a great legacy program. And there is just no way to describe. We've seen great legacy programs in action, and that's definitely one. Kimberly will be here in just a moment with a few to answer some questions that you guys might have. Suhaila, what do you think? Amazing, huh?
Yeah, it left me speechless, especially for one. I love the way that she ended, you know.
Yeah, the dash.
The dash poem. I was sitting here Googling it like, okay, I got to pull that up. I can do that again. But I just wanted to say that I appreciate what she brought here for us, because one of the most important things I think for us to take out of what we experienced last year is the fact that we are still here. We do still have time to elongate our stories. And every single one of our stories is important. And this is how we acknowledge and uplift our legacy. And I love what the Jewish Foundation did in giving their donors an opportunity to pay that forward. And so that was beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. She said something about the chance they would have to speak their truth. Just.
I was snapping the whole time, girl.
Right.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So shall we bring Kimberly on for Q&A? What do you think?
Please. I'm going to speak for the people and say, bring Kimberly on.
Kimberly.
Hey. Hi. Can you hear me all right, guys?
I can hear you fine. You're looking beautiful.
Oh, so are you. Nice, Suhaila. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Kimberly. I am so happy that we get to meet under these terms. This is, I mean, it's only 10:15, in Austin, Texas, and you already blown us away. So thank you. Thank you for starting this off.
It's a great story. It's a great program. It's a great story. I wish I thought of it.
Yes, absolutely.
Have we heard that somewhere before?
Yeah. So we have some amazing questions from the audience that we would love to, tap into. One of the first questions that came up was, do you know how the foundation raised awareness about the Book of Life? And is it used to attract new
legators? Yeah, it is. It's actually become a pillar program for the Jewish Foundation of Manitoba. And you can go to their website, and I think it's on the slide deck there. And it says right there, read the Book of Life. So they have hundreds of stories. And they also have an annual event, not this year, but they have a pretty prestigious book signing event so that everybody who has made a pledge that year can go and sign their book and have a celebration of their life, which I think is amazing, because I love legacy programs that really honor people while they're there and can celebrate their life with them. So yes, it's a very prominent program in the annual report, and you can't miss it when you go to their website.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, do you know if they broadcast that in their print materials or anywhere else?
Yeah, there's letters, invitations, annual reports. I know that Laurel would be very happy to answer some of these details. But as you both know, legacy marketing isn't really marketing as in pushing. It's just something that is kind of peppered throughout every single channel. And it's a gentle pull, right? We're here, we're ready to have the conversation when you're ready to have the conversation. That's it. It's really soft and gentle.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep nodding, Kimberly. Just keep talking. Yeah, that was beautiful. I have to say one thing real quick. Just it reminds me of the Dash was. I don't know if you remember on Twitter, the late John Hayden was. Yeah. I mean, just all I could think of was John. So, John, if you're up there, we're thinking of you.
John celebrated the Dash for sure.
He did. He did. Wow. So do we have any other questions?
We do. The other question was, oh, well, actually, I think we already answered one of these questions because you pretty much summed it up. It was just about who gets to read these stories, and you said, they posted that online, and so that was a wonderful way to try to transfer that information to their community. Yeah. Really thoughtful, really thoughtful.
Yeah, that was super.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll just take a deep breath. I love crying. Crying is a good thing. We are passionate people as fundraisers, so yeah.
Very moving.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kimberly.
It's my pleasure. I'm really looking forward to all of the other speakers, and thanks to you both for putting so much work into this, and the whole Sophie team. And thanks to Laurel for sharing her program with us. I know she'd be happy to hear from folks.
Yep, definitely. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.